Hello, and welcome to the WOW Forum podcast. I am super excited to be here with two of my co-creators of the WOW Forum to talk to you a little bit about our experiences together and discuss everything that we've been able to do this year. So let's start with how I have gotten to know you all. I started out obviously as a teacher, y'all's 10th grade teacher. So do you want to talk a little bit more about how we got introduced? Any fun memories from 10th grade? You guys are now recent graduates, so.
Well, I met Miss Hamner at like 10th grade. So first I didn't know who she was. She was just a nice lady next door. I was in a whole different class, but I was in the wrong class. I was supposed to be in her class. So they switched it over. She didn't know who I was. I went in the classroom. It seemed like an ordinary classroom, just a happy teacher, teaching the class. The one thing I noticed, she was very engaging with the students. She really did care for the students. That's why I'm here. But she really did unlock really interesting fact about me that I really enjoyed to study. Going in her classroom really helped me move myself forward, so I can say that.
And I do want to say, you were my, 10th grade English teacher, and after that, I just thought, okay, well, she was like, when I first met you, it was kind of like a warming feeling, because like you bringing like the very peaceful vibes. So it was just like, okay, so I was like, 10th grade scary. So I was just like, okay, I really hope this teacher isn't mean. But then when you came in with a warming smile, hi, how are you? How are you feeling today? Like, I was just like, okay, I can get used to this. And then it kind of turned off into from you becoming my 10th grade English teacher to the psychology class. I remember that. And it was just like, I was just like, I love our interactions, because yeah.
The time has flown by, and it really does feel like it was yesterday when we were all sitting in the classroom at Woodlawn. And I remember John always had his headphones plugged in that front seat. And I don't even remember when we had our first real meaningful conversation in that class. But it's so crazy how over time relationships can build, and that I get to say now that I got to see y'all walk the stage. We've done so many cool things together. You guys have been there for me in so many important ways, and I've gotten to see you hit so many milestones. Joss got her permit. Okay, y'all are out on the roads. Be careful, people. And so we've gone through a lot together, haven't we?
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit. Joss, I want to talk a little bit about the Peace event, because that was one of the first programs that events we were able to put on together. So you were able to close out the event with a beautiful piece of original poetry.
Yeah.
And so you can tell me more, because you have a very powerful voice, but what was it like to create original content for that event and be able to present it in front of a group of people?
Okay, so at the time of the peace event, I wasn't this one like open person. I wasn't as open as I am now. I'm sorry. I was like, when I told you that I did poetry, and you was like, okay, like he was more of, okay, we're gonna keep that in mind, and we're just gonna push you out there. I'm just like, well, I don't want to, it's like all these people, and I don't want people looking at me. And then like that was a very kind of hectic time for me. But then when I finally created the piece, and I was just like, okay. But then all on the stage, I also did the panel for that, and I was just, okay, I can do this. And then I came up with this great piece. I'm sad I don't have that piece anymore, but it was very I really liked that experience.
Yeah, and we do have the video still, so I have to send it to you, because maybe you can like write it down and remember what you were, because it was beautiful. And so, yes, that was the first big thing that we had together. And just going back to our classroom experience, one thing that bonded us, I think, or at least my class, was the fact that I had snacks. I know that you guys are like, oh, you were so peaceful and kind, but honey, the snack was what got us really able to like talk, or you guys coming back to the classroom.
Absolutely.
And I remember, even though I said that, John, you were so quiet and shy, I remember one day, you were kind of more quiet in class, but I remember one day, I guess you were kind of hungry, and you decided to come up, and, you had noticed I had some snacks, and we ended up, I think, having a good conversation that day. That was probably our first conversation where I was like, okay,
true. But the one thing y'all will surely understand, I hated school from ninth grade to like in the middle of 10th grade because I met you in the second semester, right? Yes, because I was as long as I get a D and pass out of a class. So you interacting with your students really did help me get out of my comfort zone. I was like, hey, she actually do care about her students. She really want to see her students succeed. And that's when I started giving more time more time to my schoolwork. And I met Jock, who was in your classroom. I remember the day that really truly motivated me was when we were doing the I ready and I actually had a bad grade. And then he was like, "Oh, you can always try again." I was like, "Hey, Miss Sumner, can you mind you restarting my I ready?" She was so happy to do it. She did it about how many times? 4 times.
Oh gosh.
And the thing is, my score kept going. I would get high and then do it again, try to get a better score. I get a low. And that did kind of make me nervous and a little mad. She was like, no, keep trying, keep trying. And I kept doing it. And I really did spark a really interesting, and I learned something interesting about myself. I like trying and kind of failing a little bit.
Yeah, that's really cool. And your development within the classroom has been really, really wonderful to watch. Not only you going from being quiet and maybe not that engaged. Like I remember always being like, "Hey, can you take your headphones off?" And now though, let me give a pointer. Now though I do understand because you're now a person that I know personally. You were really wanting the music to just be able to hone in and focus. So sometimes it's like if the student wants to have the headphones on and it helps them focus, like that sometimes is someone's piece. So we'll talk a little bit about that and the dynamics in the school and what makes someone feel comfortable. But like, I just want to brag for a little bit and say that you went from, oh, okay, school, I don't really care about, to really stepping into a lot of great opportunities and learning. And so do you want to, I don't know, I just wanted to brag about that for a little bit. They're both doing great things. This girl Joss has a job, honey, lined up, getting ready to go. So they're doing great things. But it's cool to see y'all grow and evolve since that time, and we haven't reflected on that in a while. So let's we've touched on like the culture and the climate of the school, and y'all touched on what it felt like to come into my class during 10th grade. Is there anything that you guys want to talk about when it comes to the climate and culture in the school? Because it can be sort of intimidating. Teachers and the way that people engage are different, right? Depending on whose class and who you're talking with. And it seems like a lot of people are carrying a lot into the classroom and into the building. And so do y'all want to talk about what maybe adults don't understand about current students and youth today, or what you think people are carrying when they walk into the school?
Okay, so I definitely have an answer for that. Definitely, I say young voices are very important. That's the first thing I want to say first and foremost. Young voices are important, but it's just like we're silenced, and it's a very confusing point for me. As a young adult, and it's just like it's kind of crazy to me, and it's kind of confusing because I'm just like, we have voices. Why aren't we allowed to speak if we see something? And if we see something that we don't like or see something that we like, we would want to talk about it. So why are we silenced as young adults? And that's one thing I do want the older generation or older audience to see. Like, if you just like people, people have kids now. So if you just really just sat down and talk with your teen, talk with your young adult and ask them how they actually feel about different things. And I think that's one thing that that's very lacked in Woodlawn. No one is really sitting down with the kids and asking them, okay, so we see things, but I know y'all see more because y'all have to go here. So what is something y'all see? Like, that's one thing that's really needs to be asked to. That's a conversation that's not really talked about, and it's kind of just like confusing to me. It's like, why? We're here, we have voices, we know, we see things, we say things, so why not? So yeah.
Thank you. John, do you want to add any observations you've had?
Absolutely. The one thing I can truly say, and it actually goes with a lot of, basically in general, like teachers or adults don't understand that in general, every kid or every person have their own individuality in them. And like when I go to school, I'll give this an example of how I used to go to school. most of the adult will categorize everybody in the same, like y'all act the same, so I'm gonna treat all of y'all the same. So when a teacher don't understand that each students, they have their own way of how they want to be talked to, how they want to have a conversation with. Cause like if a teacher would speak to me um like I'd be out in the street, I'm gonna say something like that, and like be like, "Oh, y'all be on the street every day." Da da da. I would try to be like that, cause that's how you know me, and I would put that cause we developing, kids are developing, so the image you put in my head is the one I'm finna use, is what I'm finna be. So
That's a very big barrier that really needs to be broken between the older generation and the younger generation. Y'all categorize as all of us, like you see one bad apple, okay, so everybody's a bad apple now. That's makes no sense to me. So it's just like that's one thing you need to be broken. You see one bad person doing something, okay, you talk to that one bad person. If everybody else is doing good, why is you putting everybody else in that same category with the bad apple? It makes no sense to me.
Absolutely. I appreciate you all for expanding on that because I think that that's a huge barrier. And I don't think teachers feel either confident or capable of having or believing you guys can have real conversations about things and that y'all do understand what's happening. And y'all also have really cool solutions to problems. And I think that that's why we've been able to create such a successful program is because we've co-created it together. I mean, we've went and got ice cream after school. We've had talks and meetings about the different partnerships and what's successful and what's gone on. And so we're on a podcast now. And this literally is a direct reflection of starting with those conversations we had in class when we would be reading something and just allowing you guys to elaborate. So do you have any thoughts or anything that you would say to a student or young person who doesn't feel heard or doesn't feel seen in the class?
Definitely, I would say, ooh, can you say this? No, because I just lost my train of thought.
so one thing I would say is like everybody 85% no 100% of the time somebody is suffering from the same problem as you were. When you see somebody take a chance, when they ask a question or like when they choose to do something, that sparks something in you and be like, wow, I really want to do this too. And I believe hmm yeah.
Okay, so I kind of want to take off to that. If you want to be heard, you have to make people hear you. Like, yeah, you can say something to somebody, but do they actually understand you? Do they actually understand what you're saying? Do they actually hear you? Like, are they actually okay? I understand from their point of view, and do they understand from my point of view? Like, that's one thing. So, as a, I want to say I want to say I'm a social butterfly now. Because when I was in 10th grade, I wasn't very social butterfly, and I didn't feel heard because I wasn't very social. I didn't talk to anybody for real. Had like a small group of friends that was just me. And now it's more of, okay, now you actually got to start talking to people. You want to feel heard. And if you feel like your opinions, you want to get your opinions out there, start expressing your opinions to people and see if they collide with you, or see if they collide with you, see if they are matching you. And if they do, that's great. Now you can add on to that, add more people, because can make a group of people with one voice is better than one person with one voice. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen it and it's so cool to witness you guys and all the development. And I don't know if anyone would have asked us back in 2023, like, do you think that you would be sitting on a podcast with your former 10th grade English teacher that you'd be like, oh, yes, right? But it's because of what you said, the purpose and power behind being able to use your voice and developing relationships. And you guys kind of both talked about stepping into the school with either like maybe not that passion for education or maybe not feeling comfortable in the spotlight. And so I want to talk a little bit, and that has changed drastically for both of y'all. So I want to talk about healing for a little bit and what it means to heal. And especially knowing that within education, within school, people are caring a lot. And so not only do you have your experience, but we also have community that is going through a lot of trouble and barriers, right? So, what has healing looked like for you? And you can talk about the workshop because part of our program we've done are focused on health and wellness. So, we've done a yoga class, which y'all both did great in. It was a great time. I don't know if we should link some footage, honey. Should
So, as-
we did film that. I don't know if that was the best podcast to be filmed because you know what I mean? But we've done yoga together. We've done tea making workshops. We've tried to really focus in on community healing. So do you want to talk anything about what does it mean to heal or an experience that's meaningful?
Okay, so definitely healing means to me is being free emotionally, mentally, physically, and it's just like you're free. You that weight is off your shoulders. That one heavy weight where it feels like, you feel like like when you're laying down, it feels like a weight just on your chest or like you're free now. Like all of that is gone. You can breathe better. You like when you know you're healing because your life will get better and better and you'll know like you started like going to the gym and working out, and if that's freedom to you, if you just started, hey, I want to go to the gym but it's just like this is stopping me, but now it's just like, okay, well, I'm free now. I can do what I want. I have time on my hands. Like it's just like, yeah.
Yeah. And it sounds like too, and John, you can add if you want, or we can go to
she
the.
did want to touch that.
Yeah.
So it's really said a lot, but the thing I would like to say that I personally have come to discover is like you actually are enough. You are enough to yourself. You don't need nobody to tell you whatever, because you might. For me, I used to feel like, oh, and this was actually in geometry. It was me and Jock. That's how I actually met him. I actually did start. The first time I met Jock, I hated him. Yes, ninth
Somebody
grade.
bring Jock out real quick.
I hated him because the teacher that we had for the class would only call on the that one person because he knew all the answer, and I felt so small, and I was like, oh wow, why didn't I think of knowing that question? And like I would actually be myself. I would stay up all night studying, and it would be like, and I'm still not getting nowhere, and that would lead like to a type of sadness or depression, you like to say. And I would actually did mess up with my other classes. I became unmotivated. But recently, actually, when we did yoga, that actually did help, cause I came to take a time to stop, pause, take a breath, come to yourself. Words of affirmation. I remember we used to do that in your classroom. Wait, was it little cards that y'all had? Yes.
The cards. Okay, so if we're gonna talk about the cards were actually for me at that time. That's what the cards were there. They were actually for me because like at that time point, it was just like a really bad space for me. So Miss Hamner just brought in those cards, and she was just like, every day I want you to pick a card, and I want you to read it, and I want you to tell me what it means to you, and then I want you to come back at the end of the day and then tell me how your day was and how the card helped you through your day. And I was just like, that's amazing. I love you so much for that.
I had forgotten about the cards. Yes, that was. It feels like yesterday when you bring it up, but I literally was. I'm so happy you brought up that memory. That was so special, and you got your card true and true, and so I'm glad that it, was impactful.
Yeah, and I feel like it's good that you learn that you're enough at a younger stage, because you'll never try to compare yourself to one other person. You will know you're better enough, you're good enough with what you already have. So yeah, I feel like that's a very important thing to know.
Yes, I wish we had more time because we have so many stories that we could sit
Stories
and
are
talk
endless.
about, and so many great memories together. I guess we'll close out with if you had any wisdom that you'd like to carry to the youth or even to other people who are maybe in a tough place or looking for healing, what words of wisdom would you give to them based on your own experiences?
Okay, so I actually thought of this one quote one day, and it still stays with me to this day. It's find the beauty behind your madness, which is take every bad situation you have and try to find the good in it, because there's always good in with and there's also another one which would be without the rain there would be no flowers. So you really need your bad days to so bad days some bad days are good. I mean, it may not feel good at the time, but you'll need them and they'll teach you life lessons better than happy days will.
All I gotta say is don't change yourself for somebody else to like you. Don't you do that, because you will end up in a world of hurt. When you know yourself and you truly love yourself, you attract people the same as you. So you might feel like you ain't got nobody right now, but just keep on waiting and then love yourself. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you guys so much for your wisdom and for reflecting with me today. I love being around you guys. Y'all are the best. So thank you to all the viewers, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.